Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Hey, everybody. Hi. I hope that you are happy, healthy, and safe wherever you are tuning in today. And we have an eclectic show today because we're going to do a little bit of everything. And I do want to open up the phone lines so that we can make sure we get to phone calls in the first half hour, because we're going to talk about the farmers markets both in our area and maybe in your neck of the woods. We'd love to hear from you about the markets that you go to if you want to promote yours. Love to hear from you. You can text or call at 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. Joining us in a little bit on the line, we're going to have our friends Sebastian Vargo and I believe Taylor Hanoff, two Chicago-based chefs behind Vargo Brother Ferments. And I totally forgot to bring you some of that, Lady B, but I'm going to bring you some of the, oh my God. So I just finished my jar of garlic paste. It is, oh my God, so good. It's one of my favorite things. I get cravings for that. What do you like? Do you like pickles? Are you a pickle person? A little couple 2-3 pickles. They also do like fermented green tomatoes. I have you on I should have you on the board, right? I don't see it. I don't know if I probably messed something up over here. I can't. I don't hear Lady B. We'll figure it out. Oh, why am I hearing myself better? Is that it? I don't think I can hear you. No. We'll figure it out. So Vargo Brother Ferments is so good. I mean, they sell out almost every market. So tell me, what are some of your favorite things to pick up at the farmers markets? This is a great way to support local businesses, to get out in the community, to connect with your neighbors. We have our friends from Collective who do a great job with collaborating with artists. They have candles, they have jewelry, they have household items like tea cloths for your kitchen. And there's also great food you can eat at the market, whether it's Tamale Express or the urban dining experience is great. So just want to find out, what do you like about your local farmers markets? 773-763-9278. This is an opportunity for you to call and let people know where your farmers markets are this weekend and beyond. If you live in Logan Square, tell us about your market. If you live out in Arlington Heights, if you live in Downers Grove, where are your farmers markets happening over the summer? And we also want to talk about tomorrow, we are going to be at the McHenry County Fair, broadcasting live from the McHenry County Fairgrounds, which are at 11900. I don't know how you do numbers like that. 11900 Country Club Road in Woodstock, Illinois. You can take the train right up to downtown Woodstock, maybe grab an Uber, somehow get a ride out to the fairgrounds. They're going to have Next Level Bull Riding Rodeo and the Alex Miller After Party tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the bull riding, I think. I'm always getting nervous watching folks do the bull riding. They're also going to have their tractor and truck pulls and Feudin' Hillbillies After Party on Saturday. The Demolition Derby by 4WD Promotions is on Sunday, plus tons of free daily events, livestock shows, carnival rides. I can't wait for the fair food. I'm going to be honest with you. I do like myself something fried, deep fried. I like my deep fried pickles, deep fried Oreos, their funnel cakes, all the things at the McHenry County Fair. And there's going to be exhibits, music, and so much more. So please stop by the WCPT 820 Heartland Signal tent and say hello. And we're going to interview fair exhibitors, McHenry County Dem candidates, and maybe you. And I also have some stickers, some silly stickers with my face on it that say "Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez." You want to slap that on your computer or maybe stick it up someplace so we can spread the word about our show and the station. We have some WCPT stickers to give away and some magnets. So we would love for you to stop by, say hello, and we'd love to meet you tomorrow at the McHenry County Fair, where we will be broadcasting live. And you can go to McHenryCountyFair.com for all of your fair information. And again, look forward to seeing you. We want to thank our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters. We'll be seeing Jackie in studio shortly, I believe. Pride Coffee Roasters is the best single origin roasted order coffee beans you have ever had. I love my new grinder. My friend Lilia gave me a grinder because Patty and Jackie were fairly chagrined by the fact that I was using my blender, and it does taste better, I'll be honest. So thank you so much to Pride Coffee Roasters for making something I love waking up to. Again, pridecoffeeroasters.com. You can put in an order in for a bean subscription. Maybe you want to buy some of their gay swag. I love my hoodie that says "Sounds Gay." I'm in. And again, that's pridecoffeeroasters.com. Thank you to our friends at Source Solar. Give Peter Sorellis a call or one of the members of his sales team to walk you through the process of getting solar panels on your house or business. When you go green, you save green, you do better for the environment and your future. Again, that's source.solar. And Peter has partnered with Illinois Solar for All to help you with financing and work that all out so it is to your benefit and for the property, the value of your property. That's source.solar. So instead of like Source Solar, it's source Solar is the website. You'll get all your information there. We want to thank our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company as well. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. Maybe put in an order for a can of, I don't know, Fascist Tears. It's my favorite. I love the Fascist Tears. I love the Fascist Tears. And today there's a great article by Dr. Malcolm regarding vaccinations, herd immunity, the science behind vaccinating. And if you become a paid subscriber, you can join our office hours. I did an office hours today and talked a little bit about my experiences in the disability and autism community when it comes to having conversations about vaccinations, because it has been an interesting journey over 21 years and how that's evolved, and even my own concerns and that gnawing fear because we'd heard so much out there, whether it was on Oprah or Jenny McCarthy on Larry King and all these platforms for years. I mean, how does it not permeate your brain and go, was that it? And the science is simply not there. There was recently a study where there were 0 cases of, I'm going to pull that up because it was in another country, of course, where they're actually doing science. But all the studies that were ever referred to were either fake or inconclusive when it came to autism and the impacts of vaccinations. It's simply not true. And one of the things I've always resented is using kids like mine as an excuse to not make sure our communities are safe. Like, I don't want my kid to, essentially what I'm saying is that people essentially are afraid that a child will turn out like my son. And so because of that, everyone should suffer, including the elderly, people who are immune compromised, children, and everybody in general. We need herd immunity in order to, look, this planet is more than happy to shake us off, folks. There's plenty out there that will take us down. And so if we can work together to protect each other, vaccinations is one of the ways to get that done. At any rate, that's what I talked about during my office hours today on Minocqua Brewing Company's Substack. If you become a paid subscriber, you have complete access to all of our office hours. Mine, Kirk Bankstead, Ben Cominos. We're adding more members of the team, and we'd love to have you join the conversation there. Plus, the marketplace is fantastic. Our vendors at Minocqua Brewing Company Marketplace are so invested in the environment, in uplifting our communities, like the Dugan sisters, who have incredible insect repellent products that they're not heavy in the nasty chemicals that affect your respiratory system and are bad for the environment. And they don't give money to MAGA. So I highly recommend that you visit the MinocquaMarketplace.com. Let's take some calls in a moment. I also want to thank our friends at the American Federation for Suicide Prevention and their support of our Pride Parade float this year. Pride Coffee Roasters was there. So we have our friends from Chicago Community Acupuncture, our friends from Social Change, Berman, Kia, and Hyundai. And we're so excited and Subaru. It's Berman Subaru. Really, I cannot stop looking at Subarus now that we've been partnering with Berman. So thank you so much to our friends for Illinois Veterans for Change. It's just a great experience being in the Pride Parade with everyone this year. And if you are interested in joining us for events like the Pride Parade, or if you have an event coming up that you want to promote, I know we're going to start working with some folks for Eddie Fest and the Labor Day Parade on Saturday, September 5th. We want to see everybody out there. We will be there. So excited to partner with our friends from the CFL. So let's take a break. Let's take phone calls. What time is it? I have time for phone calls. Excellent. Let's take some phone calls. You can email me if you are interested in becoming a sponsor at pvasquez@heartlandsignal.com. That's P as in Patty, Vasquez as in Vasquez at heartlandsignal.com. That's VASQUEZ. And I'd love to talk to you about your business and getting the word out there. Maybe you have an event coming up. We're going to start working on Halloween events. And then, of course, the holidays are coming up. So we would love to share your story and would love your support. For all of our sponsors, go to heartlandsignal.com. Support those businesses that are supporting these conversations because they are invested in our communities and our future. Let's get to Jim on the line from Chicago. What's on your mind, Jim?
Hi, Patty. Curing dependency, the Republican project for the last 150 years. They intend to cure dependency. But you look at what pushes ahead. You've got Francis Perkins, you've got Harry Hopkins, two social workers, one from Iowa, one from New York. They pushed civilization forward. And Harry Hopkins was asked, do you think that this food program will work in the long run? And he said, people don't eat in the long run. Anyway, the point is, they're trying to end this, with USAID cutting the SNAP program, cutting, not giving kids a break at college. I mean, all this stuff. All it's going to do is cripple us eventually because, Patty, please believe me, these programs work. There were two economists that Roosevelt adopted. It was John Maynard Keynes, who believed, he was an English economist, who believed that if you pump money into the economy. It can only help that population because it gives them more breathing room, more elbow room. And then Kennedy with John Kennedy Galbraith, the same line of he's a Keynesian economist. And what are we in now? We're in a situation where we're going to say we want to cut off USA. We don't want to give anybody any malaria nets. We let them die. I mean, that is their whole policy, to let people. So in other words, if their policy is to let people die. So if enough people die,
Yep.
then somehow this is going to bring us to a brighter economy and a better day. Now, in my mind, that is absolutely insane. But yet, that is the Republican mantra. You remember Mitt Romney when he ran for president. He's in a fundraiser for Republicans, and he's such a cheapskate that he doesn't tip the bartender. And the bartender's recording the whole thing. And Romney said, the famous words, well, the Republicans are the makers and the Democrats are the takers.
Yeah.
So this kid, this bartender, because he got stiff, he hung on to the program. He hung on to the video part of it, and he gave it to Jimmy Carter's grandson, who ran it to Mother Jones. It didn't help Romney in that election, that's for sure. But we're at a similar thing with this midterm coming up. We've got to get the power to purse back, Patty. We've got the power to purse back.
Yeah, a listener just texted in. I don't know if you heard about this news with the FCC today too, with another element that's going to make it much harder for us to get things back, right the ship, as it were. The FCC has removed the limit on broadcast TV ownership. Remember, there was a point where a single owner could not reach more than 39% of U.S. households, and they have removed that limit. So outlets like Sinclair.
It's already a mess, though. It's already a mess, Patty. It's a mess because you don't really have anybody, an erudite enough person. I haven't seen an erudite enough person on TV for years. I mean, they're actually definitely afraid. They're definitely afraid.
You know what the problem is?
Party.
We now have an audience that doesn't know necessarily, perhaps outside of this listening audience, what erudite person on TV is.
Yeah, that's right. But the point is, you don't see anybody making a crucial point or a cogent point about anything. It's the weather. It's food. It's, bread and circus is like you're in some kind of a Roman village.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what happened to it, but it's absolutely been destroyed anyway. So I don't know what they're going to do with it, but it can't get any worse. I don't think it can get any worse, so they just blacked it out.
Yeah, I know.
But it doesn't matter because. What do you think of the Michigan race?
I am pleased that the massive amounts of money that AIPAC at least put into that race was not successful. I mean, not the same in St. Louis, but yeah.
Right. And not only that, but the beautiful part about it, he is a doctor, and he does want health insurance for every American, like every other civilized country in the world has. He's all for health insurance, and he's a doctor. That's why you got Dr. Tynes on. I'd like to see more I know that they're busy, but more doctors running for office like this gentleman, and more social workers running. I'm sick of lawyers, and I'm sick of this. I'm just sick of it. I'd rather see social workers running. At least some. I'm not talking about every one of them, but at least they can articulate the position of people that they want to help. Anyway, Patty, thanks
Jim.
Have a good show.
Talk to you later. Let's take a break here, and we continue with your phone calls when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1115 Seattle. And hello to all of our friends tuning in digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and now on Minocqua Brewing Company Substack. And you can listen to our podcasts by checking us out at heartlandsignal.com. More in a moment.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
We need to speak out about this.
At 773-763-9278.
Hello.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
We are driving it home, and we're taking your phone calls while we do that. 773-763-9278 is the number to call or text. And thank you, Jim, for texting in and reminding me about the FCC and the decision to remove the limit on broadcast TV ownership. The move lifts a rule that said a single television station owner could not reach more than 39% of U.S. households, meaning now corporations, very powerful billionaires. I mean, Elon Musk could just, basically get in every single household. And there used to be a limit on that. There also used to be, the fairness doctrine, which, I mean, Nothing really matters anymore. And a lot of us feel as though we are helpless and there's nothing we can do. And we get fatigued, we get outraged, we get sad, anxious, all the emotions. And if you are looking for a community, want to gather and with like-minded people, there is an event. There's a vigil this weekend on Sunday, the 9th, on McCormick Avenue in Skokie. They're meeting in the parking lot of the north, in the north of, I'm terrible with directions, you can tell already, north of Tui, south of Howard. And this is in memory of Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero, who was killed. And this is also for the 140 known victims of ICE and the 79 unknown victims in ICE's kidnapping, detention, killings. Grito Latino in Addison as well. And that is going to be in Addison, Illinois. So there are different events for folks. So they're trying to find they want to have at least 121 people to hold up signs with victims and names and donations. They're also collecting donations for the Niles Township Food Pantry, in particular hygiene products. So that's Indivisible Evanston, Indivisible Rogers Park, West Ridge, Indivisible, Skokie, Morton Grove, Lincolnwood. So you can look for all of that information on Indivisible's website by Googling the Indivisible main page, and you'll find events in your area. Maria from Humboldt is on the line. Hi, Maria. What's on your mind, my friend?
Hi, it's been a while. I'm glad I was able to get on.
Yes.
First, I want to thank Jim for his information. I agree with a lot of what he said. As for the FCC, you know what? The only radio station I listen to is WCPT. That's my go-to.
Awesome.
And TV, I stopped watching it because I can't stand seeing liars on television, and the media is enabling them. So I say, forget it. The other thing I want to say is my fun thing to do, like I love going to the farmer market.
Yes.
I love walking. I go to the Logan Square one because I live up in that, close to it. And I just love walking through there, just looking and just seeing all the different products that are being sold. My thing are the bread, okay? I love fresh baked bread and desserts, stuff like cookies and stuff like that. So it's always a fun thing for me to go to farmers market. I grow my own tomatoes. I grow my own.
Yes.
I mean, it's horrible.
How are your tomatoes doing this year? I think I said this on the air yesterday. I'm not sure, but I've been planting tomatoes for about 4 years now. I started up again, and this is the first year I had like picture perfect tomatoes, and they were like slightly. I got them when they were still a little green, so I could put them in the air fryer, like fried green tomatoes. Oh my God, so good, so good.
Yeah,
so happy.
Yeah, my even strawberries, believe it or not a lot. I grab a few that are ready to be eaten, but I have fruits. I have all the herbs, cilantro, oregano, all those fun things that I love to add. But I also have green peppers, nice green peppers. I actually used one of them. It was so good. I mean, you save a little bit of money. It's a lot of work growing it, but you know what? I love gardening. I'm a jibara. What can I say? And you know what that means, right?
I am a chaos gardener. I just like to spread my seeds all over the place and just hope something works out. Do you know how I got my tomatoes? Actually, because I've been growing them, and if some of them fall to on the soil, I just like cover them up with the soil and just and then hope they come back next year. That's what I've been doing.
I'll go to the local place to buy products. That's what I do. The seeds and stuff like that.
There's a seed library that I got some from this year as well to grow okra and cucumbers, which I haven't been very diligent about. But there's like seed libraries. You can go online and get them sent to you as well. Like
okay. I've been growing. You're gonna laugh. Broccoli.
Yeah, I just planted some. Yes.
They're coming. I've never grown broccoli before, but this time I was really surprised. I'm looking forward to eating it. And add it to like stir fry type of thing. I mean, I'm an experiment. I'm a little farmer. That's I'm a farmer.
Nice.
can't help it. I've always been that way. I even grew corn in my parents' backyard when I was growing. So, I mean, that's my thing, you know. And with the economy the way it is, everything is so expensive. You know, I figured, let me grow some stuff, and that way save myself a few bucks here and there. But it's the pleasure creating something, helping something grow. You know.
I agree.
So
Just so you know, the Chicago Public Library has several libraries with seed libraries, including the Edgewater branch at 6000 North Broadway, the Bazazian branch on Ainsley in the 60640. Just so you know, the Chicago Public Library, if you ever wanted to get seed, they have a whole catalog of every seed you could possibly need in this area, just so you know, going forward.
That's good to know. Yeah, I mean, you always learn something. I tell you, I always learn something on WCPT, and I love listening to you all. I love listening to all you guys because, you know, you help me with recent information because I can't stand watching, you know, commercial propaganda television now. I might as well just cancel my subscription for cable, you know, because I'm fed up. I'm wasting money. I might as well. That's another way I could deduct and save some money, you know.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I just use the tablet with the internet. Yeah, you know, the tablets in my phone. You know, so I still get my information. And you guys you always provide the most current information and not propaganda, facts. And that's what I like. And the other thing I want to say, I'm really proud of those Democratic socialists. Thank God we're getting younger people and people that really want to help the community, you know. And I'm a long-life Democrat, and, you know, what can I say? But you know what? I'm open to new ideas, new people. I would consider myself a little bit more progressive. I just turned 72. I had a birthday recently.
Lady B, would you have guessed that Maria was 72? No, she sounds like she's in her 40s, 50s tops.
Yeah, if you see me, I look like I'm in my 40s, you know?
That's Latinas. Yeah.
Latina.
Brown don't frown, baby. That's all.
Yeah, you know how we are with that. We're, you know, bien sasita, you know, hot. You know, what can I
love
say?
it.
But I've always been this way. It's the Boricua in me.
I love it.
What can I say?
Oh, Maria.
Yeah.
Well, is your market this weekend? Is the Logan Square market going up this weekend?
They always it's always every Sunday.
Every Sunday. Look at you go.
Yeah, every Sunday. And they're really good about it, and it's fairly large. It covers that area there. I mean, the whole area has been changed with the traffic. It's been changed. Everything's different now. It took a while for them to get it all put together. So you can get confused if you ever go through there because you got to go kind of like in a roundabout and this way. So you got to really pay attention to the signs. Otherwise, you might end up going in the wrong direction. But, yeah, they're there, right there on Milwaukee and Logan Square, you know, Logan Boulevard. They have like this circular, I don't know, like a plaza right in the middle. But yeah, I've been going to it many, many years now. Of course, you know, prices are going up, you know, it's expected, but I love the idea of getting fresh produce, you know, and, but the bread.
Yeah.
I'm a
it's the
sucker
best.
for bread.
You got to try it. If you get a chance, I don't know I think she's more on the Northwest side, like Portage Park and Jeff Park, but Bread Cult, she makes the best sourdough bread I've ever had in my life. It's so good.
Oh, where is that? Because I'm in the Portage Park area now.
Yeah. She does the Portage Park Farmers Market, and she also does our market, but she's taking some time off, and she does drop-offs. So you can order ahead, follow her on Instagram, Bread Cult, and then she does orders, and the drop-off is at the Portage Park grounds on Irving Park Road, that little coffee shop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not too far from where I live now. I grew up in the Humboldt Park area, and then I ended up going to the Lakeview area, and, you know, I've been around, you know, it's mostly the north and northwest side that I've lived in Chicago. I'm a long-time Chicagoan, born and raised, native born here, you know. My parents came from Puerto Rico, so, you know.
Where'd you go to high school?
Yeah. I went originally, and mind you, because I'm 72 years old, I went to Thule High School when it was Thule High School before, you know, oh my God, the name of the baseball player, what's his name? They named the high school
Roberto Clemente.
Roberto Clemente, exactly. But I was only there for 1 quarter. Ended up going to Lakeview High School and graduated from there. And I love that school because I call it the United Nations School because every imaginable ethnic group was in that school, attended. All the students. We used to have what they call the international fair, and everybody contributed with their own folklorico dancing. I mean, everybody. It was so much fun, and of course, the Puerto Ricans were playing salsa. They were dancing, the guaguancó and all that stuff. And my brothers were the dancers in that too. We were salseros, as they say in the old days. But yeah, it was a great school. I was I was a great student. I was an honor student back then. I don't know what happened to me since. But I did go on. I mean, I went on and went to graduate school. I went to college, graduate school, and then law school, and then graduate school again. I'm an overachiever, because unfortunately I'm reliving the crap that's going on now with all the hatred and racism that's going on where, we have people that are profile people that are being harmed because of who they are. And it breaks my heart because I've worked with the immigrant community. So that's why I stopped watching the TV after the November 2024 election. I can't deal with the nonsense or the lies that are being perpetrated because I worked in that community. I helped them to get their green cards. I helped them to get asylum. I helped them to get citizenship. And these are hard-working people. All I met were good people. So it breaks my heart with what's going on. And knowing, because as an attorney, what they're doing is not following the Immigration and Naturalization Act. If people read that, and it's available online at uscis.gov, because that's the federal branch that I worked with, agency, and I wish people would just study and research and develop their critical thinking. Come on, people, don't listen to hearsay. Don't listen to third parties because they're just repeating nonsense. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, And so I chose. I'm not going to, deal with toxicity and listen to nonsense, listen to propaganda. I'm not going to do it. I refuse. And whenever I meet people, and I love talking to young people, I think you could tell I love to talk. I help them. I tell, hey, are you aware of what's going on in the politics? Have you thought about listening to WCPT? Have you listened about?
Yeah,
and
thanks for spreading the word.
I'm not going to mention some other groups, but because then it's free commercial, right? But there's a lot of groups that's available online that people could get so much information. There's these young people, young men. Adam and some other kids, they're young and they're out there giving facts. And I love following them. I have so much hope, and I'm so proud of the young people now. They're having a difficult time. They're going to have a difficult future. This right now is my future. This is what my future was when I was their age. But I'm still fighting. I'm still fighting for them.
I hear you. I have to address something, and I have to take a break too. So to our conversation, and someone's texting in. I have something to help them out because they seem to not be able to read or understand history or laws. So I'm going to read that to them and then take a break. Thanks so much, Maria. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice talking to you, Patty. Have a good one.
Here you go. So I have a listener who is repeatedly thinks that they've got a gotcha. So they want a definition. Sure, I'm more than happy to help you out for 8 USC 1325. I love this part. So let's read it together. 8 U.S. Code 1325, subsection A, improper entry. First offense, fined or imprisoned not more than 6 months. That's a Class B misdemeanor. Federal laws, junior varsity, sweetie. Keep going because you stopped early. Subsection B, civil penalty. Not less than $50, not more than $250 per entry. $50. Congress looked at that and said, you know what this calls for? A fine you could cover with a tank of gas and a Portillo's hot dog. I didn't say that. Congress made that rule in the statute. You've texted me all caps with 3 question marks. That's the whole document. There's no subsection section E that says, and therefore do whatever you want. There's no paragraph authorizing an agent to fire into a moving car. Nothing in there about detaining an American citizen for 11 hours. Nothing about losing children. Because a penalty statute tells you what the offense is. It doesn't tell you what may be done to a person in response to it. And half the people we're talking about even are covered by this statute. Overstaying a visa isn't a crime. It's civil. Never touch 1325. Applying for asylum after you're here is expressly legal under Section 1158, written by the same Congress in the same title. So thank you for the homework assignment. I've read it several times. You read the first 11 words and hit send. Facts do matter, and that's why I finished the whole page. Ta-ta.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Distractions.
just bold ideas and real talk.
This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Oh, what just happened? The time ran out. Hi, everybody. You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. I'm sorry. I just had to address one more thing because there's a guy online who has there's a whole statute. He answered his own challenge by pasting a 1-sentence summary twice, 1 minute apart with clown in between. And here's what he pasted because it's not the statute. That's a search result blurb. The statute has penalties in it, and his version has none because the penalties are the part that hurts him. So he asked me to put the definition. So I did. 6 months max, $50 civil fine. Subsection B. He came back with a 1-sentence Google summary. Then he sent the same sentence again a minute later in case I missed it. Which, because to be fair, these are the ones that I like to imagine him as being like a cockroach in a jar that's just like climbing around thinking that he's getting somewhere, but he's never going to get out of the jar. You're in the jar. But but look at the own words. Certain forms of unlawful entry. Certain forms. That's your definition, not mine, which means the rest of it isn't covered. Visa overstays are civil. Asylum is legal under 1158. And you proved my point and repeated it for emphasis. So just enjoy yourself. Yeah, I mean, by the way, speeding is also a misdemeanor and it actually costs. How many lives do you guys think are lost by speeding in this country? 11,000. Over 11,000 people die because people break the speed limit, and that's not even including infrastructure damage as well as medical bills. And actually, the immigrant population brings in over $1 trillion in revenue, whether it's taxes or work product. Anyway, we're just neither here nor there. So let's put, darling, I'm going to put you back in the jar and you have fun climbing up the sides of that jar. Right there. Okay, anyway. Hi, Jackie from Pride Coffee Roasters. Hi, Patty from Pride Coffee Roasters. And hi, Sebastian from Vargo Brother Ferments. Hi, everybody. This is my Jefferson Park Sunday Market. I don't have to go to your now I have to go to your tents.
Hello.
I know you want some of our coffee later.
Yeah. Here's it. So let me tell you, I just finished one of my jars. Do you guys do the garlic paste from Vargo?
We've purchased that before.
It's so good. Yeah. So we, of course, our sponsor. What was that, Sebastian?
We can collab the coffee and garlic sauce somehow.
Have you guys
something going there?
I like that idea. So, Sebastian, tell us about Vargo Brothers Ferments because it's really one of my favorite things between the coffee, the tamales, and the incredible jars of goodness that you guys bring with you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here. It's an honor, especially with my homies Jackie and Patty. So happy to be here with y'all, not in person. Yes, Vargo Brother Ferments. It's a business I run along with my wife Taylor. We specialize in a lot of lacto-fermented seasonal fare. So we love to work with local growers and veggies and just transform them into really tasty condiments. So we do everything from like lacto-fermented pickles, classic garlic dill like deli pickle, sauerkraut, kimchi. When I say lacto-fermented, we're talking salt brined, unpasteurized, so like naturally tangy, naturally crunchy, just refreshing krauts, kimchis, and pickles, and so much more than that. And then, what we'd like to do is make things that are good for digestion and immune functioning. So, yeah, it's definitely a love and passion. I'm super happy I get to do it.
I know that in the past, Meryl said there used to be a cookbook with all the products. I really should start writing down all the ways in which I use, obviously, my coffee every single day, which I love. But I made a dirty matcha with your coffee the other day, which was also fantastic. I had some matcha powder, and I was like, I needed to double down on my caffeine. So tell us a little bit too about Pride Coffee Roasters. And I know that we've talked about it before on the air, and I've mentioned it that you guys, started out as hobbyists. Mm-hmm. Whose idea was pick that up as a hobby?
I think it was me because I'm like a wannabe DIYer all the time. Most things do not work out very well, but I was tired of buying name brand coffee beans from somewhere local here, and not a local, but like more of a mass, corporate produced place. And I'm like, you know what? I want to try this out. So I did some research and learned that you could buy a popcorn popper that you do over the stove, and that's kind of how we started making our own coffee. And then it just kind of exploded. Baby steps.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it is something when you decide to put your brand, at the forefront, right? So I think that, we all, because like people get locked into this idea of like, well, if we call it this, then, we're certain people aren't going to buy from us. We don't need everybody.
Exactly. But Patty,
Right?
can kind of elaborate on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, various markets have multiple coffee vendors, and there's room for everybody.
Yes. And you guys, you span the entire, but I think it also draws people in. I was just talking about how important it is to wear, and I don't think I'm wearing today, but in general, wearing a pride, just a symbol of being an ally. It's amazing to me how many people react. If I'm wearing earrings at Wrigley, people are like, I love your earrings.
Yeah.
Right? They say love on them.
It's fun to hear the thank yous for being here.
Yeah.
I mean, the visibility really matters. So,
and we were never nervous about our name, Pride Coffee Roasters, or are worried about our garb that we wear, our design that sounds gay I'm in. I was never afraid to show that out loud to people in public, and because I'm so happy of who we are naturally, and our product is that freaking good. So if you don't like what we are, then we understand, just walk on by. You don't need to make a comment. Just walk on by.
Walk on by. I mean, that's also for the show. You don't like it? Walk on by.
Yeah.
Walk on by. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Ta-ta. For Vargo Brothers, how did you get started, Sebastian? Where did this come? Where did this wonderful company of incredible foods come from?
Yes. Well, I was going to say, to the walk on by comment, people do like to let me know that they think kimchi is stinky. And I'm like, okay.
So's your opinion. Just say
Right on. I love kimchi, so we have so many people, exactly, not for everyone, but the people that do show up for it are the ones that are so special. The business, as far as fermentation goes, is something that I fell in love with. I want to say around like 13 years ago, in kitchens. It's where, I've always had a job just cooking. It's really always been something I've loved to do since I was a young one. My grandmother got me inspired at a young age, and I ate a lot of sauerkraut growing up as well. That was always catch me with a coffee mug filled with sauerkraut.
I'm sorry, these are not the sentences that people use often.
I was the one. Things in a coffee mug. Put Skittles in one.
Sure.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it a family thing to be eating sauerkraut? What were we doing with sauerkraut?
It was a family thing. Yeah, absolutely. It was just something that we just had a deep passion for. Don't ask me like the origin of that, but it definitely came from like our grandmother just loving it. She had a lot of special recipes. I remember I had a crazy steam burn that I got. She was making braised short ribs and sauerkraut, and I just loved it. And it was just cooking slowly. And I just remember peeking under the lid and burning my arm, but being worth it because it was delicious. But I've always just kind of grew from there. And then getting into cooking and having cool chefs who were down to just show me the basics and the functions of what was happening under the hood. And after that, once I learned that you could just preserve things and give them a second life and change the flavors, it was just game over. I just dove headfirst into that. When I met my wife and I met Taylor, we met in kitchens. And, I told her a long time ago that I wanted to have my own pickle shop one day or just do something with fermentation. So once COVID really took off, the pandemic, as we may have heard of it, we had that free time to try some stuff out. And eventually, it became me just making pickles from my childhood and making fun ferments and experimenting with it. And, now 6 years later, we get to do it for a living. So I'm always, every day, I try to at least once a week express some gratitude that we get to do this, even when we're super busy and swamped and trying to keep up.
It's so good. One of my favorite things is, I think it's a dill salsa. I told you the
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's a deeper cut.
It is so good. All right. We are hanging out with our friends from the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. We'll be at the park this Sunday, 9:30 to 1:30. There will be yoga. You can sign up for Wildfire Yoga. Go to their website. Go to the Jefferson. Patty, Jackie's like, why are you looking at me like I might know? I'm just looking at somebody because I'm looking for it in my own brain and hoping if I look into your eyes, I'll find it.
Good. I'm not weirded out at all.
That was intense.
You can look at me too. I can confirm.
Go to Jefferson Park Sunday Market's Facebook page. You can also find out more about all the great vendors that will be there this weekend. As I mentioned, we've got Collective. I love their jewelry. I'm not wearing any of it, but I have so many of their rings. It's kind of getting ridiculous because I love them all so much. Plus, the artist will custom make items for you if you have something in mind, and she did a fantastic job. You can go to Jefferson Park Sunday Market, their Facebook page, as well as their website, which I'm trying desperately to find before I go to the break. Let's just go to the break, and we'll get the website when we come back. On WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. Hello to all of our friends tuning in digitally, and we have some calls on the line that we'll also be talking about farmers markets when we come back. And if you have a farmers market you want to promote, I don't have to corner the market. We talked about Logan Square. I think our friend Jeff is going to tell us about his Sunday market that he likes going to. 773-763-9278. Tell me about the markets in your neck of the woods. And if you haven't been to a market recently, Google them near you and get out there. Get out there with your neighbors. Skokies is fantastic. Edgewater is great. Porridge Park will be next week. Just a few to name. Just saying.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Here's good news for those Chicagoans heading up to southern Wisconsin. Should you ever forget to load up on progressive brews from the local favorites like Rogers Park Provisions or Park West Liquor in Lincoln Park, Minocqua Brewing Company beer is now conveniently available at Dream Liquor and Cigar in Kenosha and in the Lake Geneva area at Delavan Liquor and Smoke in Delavan. If the great town of Madison, Wisconsin is your jam, please remember to swing into the Minocqua Brewing Company tap room at 2927 East Washington Avenue to grab some Resistance beer, pizza, t-shirts, and progressive camaraderie.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. They're not here yet, but I feel like they are. And thank you to everybody tuning in digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and Minocqua Brewing Company Substack, or our podcast. We are talking farmers markets. This weekend is the Jefferson Park Sunday Market at the Jefferson Park proper, at Higgins and Long, or Lawrence and right across the street from the Jefferson Park Library and Post Office. It's kind of like it almost seems like it could be a small town, and that's what I love about that sort of center of the community, and that's why I love being at the market. We're on the line with Sebastian Bargo, who is along with his wife Taylor Hannah. They are both Chicago-based chefs behind Vargo Brother Ferments. Someone just texted me that they just found dill pickle salsa. It's awesome. Are any of your products carried in stores, Sebastian?
Yes. Quite a few different stores. We stock in Wild Onion Co-op over on, I think that's like the 7000 Clark area up north. That's an excellent co-op. They have, so many awesome local vendors. Always recommend that one, Wild Onion Co-op. And then we're in a couple smaller stores. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, one of our favorite stores, 40 Acres Market in the Austin neighborhood, is just one of the most beautiful grocery stores. They've been around for a short while now, but they're just bringing a lot of beautiful produce and everything into that neighborhood. And then we now stock, we dropped off some collard green kimchi and two different types of kombucha to Southside Market over on 79th. So that's a really beautiful co-op as well. So just so many, all of our vendors are just amazing people.
I love it.
We love them.
Same. It was funny. You said something the other day because when there's still the juice in the bottom of the jar. You said, when you have that itch, and that's such a great way to put it. I have that itch for the taste, and I keep I keep the liquid there so I can take a sip of that too, because that's also good for your bio system, right?
Absolutely. Hey, I'm always about it. Drink the brine. You have to get your probiotics in somehow. So if you can find a way to make it taste good, that helps, I think, a lot. So absolutely. I'm doing shots of brine. I do a shot of sauerkraut brine almost every morning, sometimes with a little fizzy water if I'm feeling fancy or sassy.
Well, fancy. And for Pride Coffee Roasters, you guys also have a subscription. What is wrong with my brain today? You have a subscription that folks can order and have it delivered, right? And That's right. This is something that they can choose one, and then you also
we're very flexible, but the typical subscription service is one of our 10 different origins, and then a fun blend that's exclusive to the subscription service. So you won't generally find our fun blend at the markets. So you have to subscribe and sign up to ensure you get that. And we do local delivery only for that, or you can pick up at one of our local markets. We do.
Excellent. And Sebastian, what do you want folks to know about the products that you have out there, whether it's at the markets, how they can find you at the markets, how they can find you in the stores? What's the best way to follow you?
Absolutely. You know, I always say that, we have a very fun website. So just, I definitely suggest VargoBrotherFerments.com. We also have lots of zines, informative information as well that we love to just put out information to the public. I would say come see us at your local farmers market. It's summer. It's beautiful. Come touch some grass. Yes, catch us anywhere from Portage Park to the beautiful Jefferson Park Market over at the Memorial Park. We also do Horner Park as well. It's another beautiful one. And if you're in Batavia area, come visit us. Batavia has a very robust farmers market scene as well, so they do a good job.
Excellent.
Oh, and Uptown, of course. Uptown Wednesdays, 2:30 to 7.
Excellent. Now you know where to find the Vargo Brothers. VargoBrotherFerments.com. That's VargoBrotherFerments.com. And we'd love to have you and Taylor in studio next time so we can all hang out. Sound good?
I would love it.
Excellent. Because I'm keeping Jackie. They don't know that yet, but I'm locking the door. They can't go anywhere. I'll talk to you later. See you on Sunday, my friend.
Yes.
Bye, Sebastian.
You.
Bye.
Have a great one.
Bye, Taylor. Thank you. Let's take a break here, and we will continue our conversation. We're going to have our friend Ben Cominos on, but I want to talk a little bit more with our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters. So proud to have been with them at the not only the Jefferson Park Sunday Market where I volunteer, but also the Pride Parade. Again, PrideCoffeeRoasters.com. I know everyone was so supportive of companies like theirs in June. They're proud all year, folks. So go to PrideCoffeeRoasters.com, and we'll continue our conversation. And I'll get our callers on the phone as well in just a moment on WCPT. KKNW and digitally. Sorry, Lady B, I'm so late. Here we go.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. And joining us in the overnights, we have KKNW 1150 in Seattle and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. And of course, everyone tuning in digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and now Minocqua Brewing Company Substack. And thank you to those who listen perhaps in the future or, definitely not in the past and not right now. So our podcasts are available after our shows are over on heartlandsignal.com. And all of our shows live on my Facebook page, the Patti Vasquez Show page. Joining me in studio are one of my favorite, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't say my favorite sponsors. I love my sponsors.
Your favorite coffee.
My favorite coffee providers. Yes. I love Peter Sorellis too. I love Kirk Bankset and my friends Angela from American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. My favorite people to wake up to, because I wake up with Patty and Jackie. See, it's how it's different. It's my favorite sponsors that I wake up with. I don't wake up with Kirk. I don't wake up with Peter Sorellis. I wake up with Patty and Jackie from Pride Coffee Roasters, because that's what's in my coffee maker. The best single origin roasted to order coffee beans you've ever had. Do you like that line that I use? Every cup of coffee tastes like a love letter in a mug.
Yeah,
is that
that's
okay?
great. I'm so proud that you got a grinder.
I did get a grinder from Lillian, not the app. I got Ben Cominos is on the line. Now Ben says he's not much of a coffee drinker. Ben is now. Is it still Outside the Box? Is your podcast? Is the show that you have? So the host of Outside the Box. So Ben, what I've learned from my guests, from my sponsors, is that using a blender to grind up my coffee beans is neither. It's not looked on very well. It's neither encouraged nor appreciated, I think is what I was looking for.
Just not ideal.
Just not ideal. Okay. I felt a tremendous amount of disdain from Jackie when she learned. I mean, see the face? That's the face. They are the vendors at the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. They will be there this Sunday, 9:30 to 1:30. Who's doing Skokie? Who's doing Jeff Park?
I am doing Skokie.
Fine.
I'll be at Jeff.
All right, then.
Yep.
All right. I look forward. Well, you'll be there after you're done, right? Now you lunch. We'll figure that out.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Again, go to PrideCoffeeRoasters.com. You can also put in an order for a bean subscription. Thank you to our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar. Make an appointment with Peter Sorellis. Maybe it's time to get solar panels on your house or business. When you go green, you save green. Source.solar. And, of course, Minocqua Brewing Company. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com and put in an order for some fascist tears, because they're delicious. And we also want to thank Kirk for his support and having us on the live stream on Facebook, as well as the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We'll be working with them for their walk in Out of the Darkness coming up in October, as well as getting ready for the Labor Day Parade coming up on September 5th. And Eddie Fest is back for the first time since 2019. Now, let's talk to Ben first, and I've got some callers on hold since I've already talked to Ben a little bit. Ben, do you go to farmers markets? Are you a frequenter of?
Yeah, I didn't used to. That is a new Wisconsin tradition for me. It's a nice thing to do on Saturdays.
They didn't have them in Pittsburgh, or you just didn't go to them?
You know, they might have, you know. I was living like in the city proper of Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? There were 1,000 things to do every single day. So farmers markets, I'm very notorious for having never used my stove or oven. Like, I don't cook a lot. I just go out and I eat out and I live out there. So, I mean, farmers markets weren't for me then, but I go out there now. They got the best fruit, and it's like the last place where things are affordable in 2026. So farmers markets are where it's at.
And I have to. There's a guy that like everybody swears by that has eggs, and they were so Patty and Jackie were like, "You got to go get those eggs right now." Who's that guy who feeds his chickens like cornmeal and like the dentist? John Paddock.
Paddock Farms.
Paddock. It was unbelievable. Like Steve was like afraid to touch them because he was like, "Well, I'm just gonna make scrambled eggs." I'm like, "Don't touch my eggs." Because they make great sunny. I have my sunny side up. How do you eat your eggs? What's your?
It depends what's with it. But I'm more of a hard fry. But I break the yolk and then I like a medium.
All right. How about you?
I'm an over easy.
Over easy. How about you, Ben? How do you take your eggs?
Scrambled every
eggs.
single time.
No Paddock eggs for you.
Just kidding. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
I'll take my ball and go home.
No, I'm teasing. No, it's also very good scrambled. I don't know if you guys have seen this video that kind of went viral. These chefs that were talking about the best like little souffle you can make in your microwave. This is for you, Ben. This is super easy. It's one, you crack an egg in a coffee mug and you whisk it with a tablespoon or so of mayonnaise. Not kidding. And you microwave it for like a minute. I usually do for like a minute 10 so there's any liquids. It's what? Yeah. And then you put that on your nachos with your Vargo brother ferment with some salsa and cheese and oh my god. It's just it's a good
Too bad we don't have a working microwave. We haven't had one in about 8 years.
Okay, these are not people I can talk to, Ben. They don't use microwaves. Do you not use microwaves?
And I'm listening to you tell me this, and I'm telling you right now, Patty, if I didn't eat for 4 days, I'd die of starvation sitting next to that concoction. That
you don't use a microwave either? All right.
No, I'm not putting mayonnaise in anything. I'd be like, oh, here's this thing. We know you haven't eaten in a half a week. I'd be like, nah, I'll wait till the next thing. Thank you.
Does anyone want to tell him about Portillo's chocolate cake? Do you guys know about Portillo's chocolate cake? Okay, never mind.
Never had it.
Okay, that they use mayonnaise. Let's.
Oh, really?
I don't think I'm supposed to say that. I was told like years ago when I was at another station, they were like, they might be sponsored. We want them to sponsor. Don't tell people about the mayonnaise in their chocolate cake. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get to a phone
you
call.
just ruined their whole business model.
yeah, I'm sure they're going to struggle. Yeah, they should have gone public. I guess people are going to buy stocks. We have Jeff from Elgin on the line. Hey, Jeff, you have a farmers market you want to tell us about?
Patty, you're killing me. I'm hearing so many questionable culinary things on the show right now that I don't even know. Mayonnaise in the chocolate cake. I've heard of sour cream in the chocolate cake, and I've heard of Greek yogurt in the chocolate cake. But mayo in the chocolate cake is an interesting one.
What is in mayonnaise?
Eggs and oil.
Eggs and oil.
Yeah.
Just saying. That's it. Ben, it's just eggs and oil.
I hate that you told me that.
Mayo does get a bad rap. I honestly say mayo gets a bad rap, especially when you make it from scratch and do an aioli. It's good.
Here you go.
The jarred stuff, I get it. While people are fearful of the jars.
You can Google it. Mayonnaise is famous at Portillo's. It is a secret ingredient in their legendary chocolate cake and famous chocolate cake shake.
Yeah.
It adds rich moisture, so it makes it moist. I know how much people love that word.
Ben
is gagging.
Moist on the radio more often.
Tell us about your market, Jeff.
Speaking of moist, I think Fired Up Spicy Fact Check Patty needs to make an appearance more often on your show because that quoting chapter and verse from the U.S. Code kind of got me feeling a certain kind of way. So just throwing that plug out there for you. I got to plug the Elgin Farmers Market. It is a Friday market, so tomorrow it is 3 to 8 downtown Elgin. Ample parking, but if you take public transit, you can literally see the farmers market location from the Metra or the Pace Bus Depot right across the river.
Awesome.
It's great. They're always looking for new booths, and they've actually been trying to find an indoor location so they can extend their season a little bit and run more into the fall and start earlier in the spring. So if anybody's got hookups out there with ideas for them, they're always looking for cool stuff. And I got to put a plug in for the Park Ridge Farmers Market as well. My brother and sister-in-law swear by that place on Saturdays. Also right by the Metro in downtown Park Ridge. And they have some amazing baked goods. So shout out to Maria, I think, who was loving on the baked goods earlier. And I also, PSA, if you're trying to bring people out to the McHenry County Fair, please do not have anybody just show up at the Metro in Woodstock without a prearranged ride.
Okay.
Because they will find a shock to the system trying to find a ride from there to the fairgrounds, because it's not like you can pick up an Uber like it is downtown.
Uber drivers, get your butts out to McHenry County so people can get rides.
If
You're looking drivers, if you're looking for some work, I think there's some.
Thanks, Patty. You just created surge pricing in Woodstock for the weekend. Great job. Way to keep the economy going. And hey, speaking of the economy, market days, North Halstead Market Days this weekend, 10 to 10, man. Like, chickadee, check it out. Also, it's gotten much more local since COVID.
Nice.
It used to be very commercial, and they bring a lot of vendors in from outside. They've carved out special areas now for local food vendors and stuff. So it has gotten much more to its roots of being more of a local vendor, arts and crafts, like places that had stuff on the street that it did back in the day when I first started going to market days like 30 years ago. Anyway,
awesome. Thank you.
Have a great week.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. And thank you for staying on hold for a while. So, Ben, one of the things that we're talking, because, we're discussing farmers markets, and of course, for me, as you mentioned, some of those prices are more affordable than they are at the grocery store, because people used to, could be concerned about how much things, they're like, oh, farmers markets are more expensive now with everything going up. What are you hearing in Wisconsin about the cost of things, whether it's gas? I know we have a lot of ag in your area. How are folks doing in Wisconsin?
I mean, it's exactly what you think it is. I mean, especially 70% of our industry or some stat like that comes from agriculture. So with people expecting the cost of fertilizer going up and things like that, it's rough out there. It's hard. It's hard to contend with. It's the kind of difficulties that it actually drives me nuts. Like, doing political talk the way we do, the idea that anybody who is representative of the economy that we are in right now is even polling at 20% blows my mind, because nobody is doing all right now. And it's just a matter of hanging on for dear life.
I that's the thing, is that, like, I know that we've talked before about your listeners, because you appealed to people who might disagree with you. I guess I was surprised at the Skokie Farmers Market when I was there with Jackie and Patty. A woman came up to me and was telling me her sister listens to the show, and she's MAGA, but she likes my show, which I thought was really interesting, because I have a tone.
Yeah, well, that's my go-to line right now. Is up until the day I was fired, there were still MAGAs that say, I really like that outside the box. He's such a moderate. And then, like, meanwhile, I was up there like, we need to tax the rich and Medicare for all, and let's tear the system down. But just expressed in a way, I'm being hyperbolic now for how I was saying it, but it's a matter of how you say it, not what you're saying, because nobody even expected what I was, the entire time, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, no, I agree. And let's take a quick break and come back. I've got a couple phone calls. I don't know what. Let's ask Paul from Seattle what he wants to join the conversation with. I know that Dave from San Francisco wants to talk about economics. I don't know if it's guns and butter, which nobody sells butter at the farmers market, do they? But does Finns might have. I know they have tallow. Oh my God, you guys! I'm defrosting some of their Hungarian sausages today. Very excited about that. Let's take a break here and continue our conversation with Ben Cominos. He's the host of Outside the Box. That's Outside the Box on YouTube. Become a subscriber there. He also broadcasts every single day on Monaco Brewing Company Substack. But go to YouTube as well and subscribe there, because we're trying to get him over 1,000. That's when he starts being able to make a better living.
If I can, the channel's just named Ben Cominos. It doesn't have anything to do with Outside the Box. So it's just Ben Cominos on YouTube. Ben
Cominos, not just Ben Cominos, but just Ben Cominos, but just is not in the name. It's Ben Cominos, Cominos, traditional spelling. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 and KTNF AM 950. Thank you all for being here digitally as well.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And we are hanging out in studio with our sponsors from Pride Coffee Roasters, Patty and Jackie. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com and put in an order for the best single origin roasted to order coffee beans you've ever. Single origin roasted order, meaning they're single origin. Can you remind folks what single origin means? Because I learned from you guys.
Single origin is one country in a specific area, region of that country. We really like to think of it as like a wine tasting kind of thing with coffee. Because if you get wine from someplace, from like France, and then you get just like coffee from India, from a certain area, it's going to taste different than another coffee in the same country name a different area. So the single origin is the one country, and that's it. That's
I'm on Ben Cominos. By the way, I'm not on Ben Cominos. Ben Cominos, by the way, I am on Peru is my coffee of the week from Pride Coffee Roasters, and it's fantastic. It's some of my favorites. Joining us on the line is Ben Cominos, the host of Outside the Box. Find him, Ben Cominos, on YouTube. And we were talking a little bit about how Ben appealed to MAGA voters. You say MAGA or MAGA? Everyone says MAGA apparently sounds too gentle. MAGA.
That sounds pretentious. Yeah,
MAGA. MAGA sounds
yeah.
pretentious? All right, then MAGA.
Yeah, it does.
MAGA it is. Hey, MAGA.
Put a pinky out.
That's
pinky
right.
out when you say MAGA.
We're going to talk. We have a listener who wanted to talk about that in a moment. But also, I think that you can sort of thread that line. I think that you sound angry enough about everything that's going on that it's appealing to folks that might not otherwise listen to the issues that you take on, which includes economics. And Dave from San Francisco wanted to talk about economics. Dave, what's on your mind?
Oh, well, I can mix any number of your topics. First one, coffee.
Yep.
Let's see, if I remember right, Voltaire would drink as many as 50 cups of coffee a day.
Well, and no wonder he thought this was the best possible of all worlds. he was over caffeinated.
And
that was a good joke.
I feel so inadequate for having only 7 today.
Hey David, I may have to do a rapid transmit, so I've got because we're gonna
sure.
we have to end in a couple minutes. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'll do it. You're talking farmers markets, and that'll tie to the Keynesian economics you were just talking about. Back in the old days, they had what were called panics, and this was before the Great Depression, and there wasn't enough money in circulation to go around. In the old days, they had gold, and they would print 10 times more paper than there was gold in the treasury, but sometimes they would drop it to 9 times or 8 times, and so nobody'd be able to pay their rent or get their bills paid because there wasn't enough paper to go around. And in farmers markets right now, there's a thing called market match. And if you're on Snap, you go to a central booth and you say you want $40 worth of farmers market money. Well, they'll give you $50 or a little more even. And so it actually increases your spending power. It's an incentive to get you to come back to the farmers market. And this is one of those Keynesian ideas where it puts more money in circulation, even though the amount of money that's in circulation right now is being heisted by Trump and his boys.
Yeah, I think it's a really great point. I have to go because we've got Ben on the line, and I've got one more phone call to take. But David, thank you for the reminder that folks can come to the farmers market if they are on SNAP benefits. They can do that at Jefferson Park as well. Have a great night, and let me take one more phone call from Paul in Seattle. Paul, you wanted to say that there are more MAGA callers to WCPT than you've heard in a while?
Well, maybe for you it would be text messages, but yeah, I've heard more MAGA. I call them MAGA, especially if you're from the Midwest. It's MAGA. MAGA.
MAGA.
It's MAGA for everybody other than Patty.
Go ahead.
Well, they're calling. I think they're reactionary. They're freaking out, and most of it, a lot of them arguing with Tom Hartman.
Yes, I don't know why he gives them so much time. I mean, like that's what the beauty of thank you, folks, for the kind text about how I handled this texter who's been demanding that I define this legislation and this code, and I gave it to him. He's like, well, but it's a misdemeanor. It's still breaking the law. So is speeding. So you don't kill somebody. You don't shoot somebody in the face for it. You don't throw a child into detention and separate the families because they cause a misdemeanor. Thanks, Paul. I'll have to keep an eye out for more of the MAGA call it. MAGA, whatever.
MAGA.
Ben, any last thoughts on the work that you're doing, the stories that you're following?
I mean, yeah, just it does tie into what we're talking about here, and we're seeing a lot of this success with one particular gubernatorial campaign up in Wisconsin. But data centers are a big-time bridge right now between MAGA, liberals, and progressives. And in Wapaka, which is about 30 miles west of me, they held a zoning meeting at 9 a.m. on a Thursday today, thinking that nobody was going to show up. And there's a picture up right now on my Facebook page. You physically could not get into the building. That's how many people showed up at 9 a.m. to tell people they don't want this happening. And when that happened, they ended up rescheduling the meeting. That many people showed up, and they canceled the meeting. So people called off work. They did all the things that you need to do to get there, and they're like, we'll do this at another time. And they're intending to try and sneak it past us here. Like, you talk about bridging gaps. Understanding that people, at the very least, want this to be public is very necessary, and they're banking on a lack of media transparency to cover it. And I guarantee you there's similar things happening in everybody's neck of the woods down there in Chicago as well. But that's what I'm on right now.
Well, that might be why the FCC is limiting that the 39% for broadcast. They're eliminating the limit for how much corporations can own, how much of the homes they can get into. And it used to be 39%. And they've eliminated that. So maybe it's also to force data center information. Ben Cominos, the host of Outside the Box. You can find him on YouTube, Ben Cominos. Subscribe and get him over 1,000, folks. That's our mission. Come on, folks.
And I do have an election watch special Tuesday night on that channel. So if anybody wants to watch the results come in with me, just search my name, click the F and subscribe button, and we'll be doing that together there.
Thank you, Ben. Have a great night. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We've got an interview coming up in just a moment with Joel Dinerstein, who this was a great interview. I was proud to record that. Thank you so much to my sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters. I'll be at the McHenry County Fair tomorrow. Thank you, Lady B.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and TNF in Minneapolis, St. Paul. That's AM 950. We're so glad that you're all joining us for this conversation. And of course, our friends joining us digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and Substack through Minocqua Brewing Company Substack. Please consider subscribing and sharing with your family and friends so they can join the conversation too. All of our interviews live at heartlandsignal.com, so you can tune in for any of our podcasts if you miss something, and you can go to any location to find our podcast as well. My guest today wrote a book about the last generation of American immigrants to come through Ellis Island that this country decided to be proud of. Joel Dinerstein grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Yiddish in the kitchen, rock and roll on the radio, a grandmother who hid her twin daughters down a well to keep them from Cossacks during a pogrom. His memoir is called The Last of the Ellis Island Jews, and it's out this week. Here's what's got me really going, because he has more than 200 federal agents who descended upon the city he lives in now. He's in New Orleans, and federal agents under an operation called Homeland Security, they called Catahoula Crunch. Businesses shut their doors. Parents kept their kids home from school. So we have a book about how America absorbed a people arriving in a country that is running that film backwards. My mom came here from Mexico. She's 91. She lives with us. Same story, different route. Joel Dinerstein, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. First of all, are you staying hydrated? Because I know it gets a little warm and toasty in August in New Orleans.
Well, it does, but actually for us, it's normal. And everywhere else where they're suffering immense heat, they're not used to it. We have the usual 95 degrees every day.
Yeah, it is. It's staggeringly uncomfortable. I mean, I know it gets hot in other parts of the country, but let's talk about your book. And you call yourself one of the last of his kind. What does that mean to you? And when did you realize that?
I don't know. I realized that intuitively pretty early, like when I was a teenager. But I call myself the last of my kind because the biggest migration, one of the biggest immigration periods in America was between 1880 and 1924 through Ellis Island. And that is the period in which Jewish Americans, 4 million of them, came in, sort of 50 times more Jews than had been here previously. And 75% of all American Jews are actually descended from that migration one way or another. Why I'm one of the last of my kind is I am first generation to that migration, because my parents came in when they were 10. The immigration law changed in 1924 for some of the same reasons that we have immigration problems now. There was a huge sort of uproar that they're ruining the country. And, they're from, what, the president had called, terrible countries. And so that had been building for a decade. In 1924, immigration law changes. And they set a quota that the only amount of people that could come in from your group was dependent on like the 1890 census. So that meant that, suddenly very, very, so it fell to a little bit of each people, Jews, Italians, Hungarians, Poles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So my parents were 10. They grew up in very small, impoverished shtetls in Lithuania and Russia. They were both native Yiddish speakers. And I was born when they were in their mid-40s. So biologically and mathematically, you can't be much younger than me, and my sister's a year older than me, and still be first generation to that migration. Also, we were not successful, so we stayed in our neighborhood for a very long time. Nobody moved to the suburbs. And so I knew all my extended cousins, my grandparents. And so I have very much kind of firsthand testimony of about 4 generations of American Jewish life in the 20th century. And believe me, I talked to a lot of people, and this is not this is a very unique position.
It's wild to have that sort of self-awareness, isn't it? To because not everybody does that. We kind of go through life. We're all trying to survive. And you talk about your father as well and his gambling. He was a rager, and you also have this family history, obviously, of your grandmother hiding her twin daughters in a well. I mean, that's what they call now, which we didn't have that language. I'm Gen X. I'm 55, and we didn't have that language of generational trauma that we understood. And I guess it's what people would kind of describe your family. Talk a little bit about growing up in that environment.
Well, in fact, neither of my parents ever talked about the trauma of their childhood in the pogroms in Russia, ever. I learned that by reading. I learned that by, I'm a professor of Jewish studies. I mean, I sort of learned that going on. I didn't know anything about that. The down the well story, I learned from one of my oldest first cousins 3 years ago. I interviewed all my oldest cousins for the book. The only story my mother ever told of growing up, and I heard it when she was 80, and it came out of nowhere. Someone mentioned the old country, and she said, yeah, one day a neighbor came up to me and my mother and said, don't go home because the Cossacks are there. And she said, so of course we didn't. And what he meant was, don't go home because they'll take what they want. But if you go home, you might be, raped and hurt and assaulted.
Yeah.
And so she told that story and I went, Mom, what else do you remember? And she just threw up her hands and go, like, that's it. One story floated up and that was all I ever heard. So everything else is from my reading, my interviewing, the oral histories that I did for the interview, but they walled it off from us, right? They were immigrants protecting their children from what their upbringing was. So we didn't in my neighborhood, they didn't even talk about the Holocaust in the 60s and early 70s. Like that didn't happen until a little later, which I also talk about in the book.
Wow. It's a lot of heaviness to it. And I think that some people want to distance themselves, right? I mean, like in my family, a lot of humor is used. Was that something that, like, what kind of tools would you say your family used to sort of adapt and survive, really?
Well, I got to say, sort of the Jewish humor heritage is, deep and long, and it is how we cope with this. As I like to say, quoting from Spaceballs, the Schwartz is with me. So, that's how we did it. And I started writing my family's, sort of my parents' arguments into humorous anecdotes when I was 15 in high school. Like I needed to use writing as therapy, which is common enough. But I also knew that I would write a book about my family, whether an autobiography or memoir, when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
So I was like really in touch. I was also in touch with the fact that a lot of things were ending. And this is weird. I cannot say why I knew that intuitively I came in at the end of a bunch of things. So, the famous line of The Sopranos, Tony Soprano says, I feel I came in at the end of things, right? Things used to be good. And he means America. And I get that. But 20 years earlier, for me, it wasn't America. It was kind of the golden age of urban life in America. It was the golden age of sort of Jewish urban neighborhood, middle-class life. We grew up during white flight. People moved to the suburbs. And so really, in terms of current events now, this book is really about affordable neighborhood middle-class life, which no longer exists in America, first of all. And second of all, has been kind of looked at as being a loser. It's like, it's only home ownership in suburbia that makes you normal, when apartment life and like a vitality on your street life and among your friends, like isn't looked at as positive or normal. So, I mean, even I as a kid, I thought the Brady Bunch was normal American life, right?
Yeah.
And not the one I was living, which I enjoyed very much as a kid.
It's funny because I grew up in a very small apartment in Chicago, and as I mentioned, my mom is from Mexico. My dad was first generation Irish, and I think you're right. I'm just thinking about the 70s and 80s, and even now when I see kids on their bikes, riding around the neighborhoods, my heart flutters because I'm like, oh, they're outside, right? So tell us a little bit about the sights and sounds of growing up on that block in Flatbush.
Anyway, in Flatbush, so on a given day, right, we all walked to school together. There were no school buses, right? And it was kind of 15 months to walk to school, and you walk with your friends, right? And after school, since I was a guy, we mostly played sports because Title IX didn't start till 1975. And we all played pickup sports. Like you just said, you just got a bunch of guys and said, be there at 3:30. We had what I call God's gift to my neighborhood, which were the parade grounds, which was a half-mile square of ball fields, baseball fields, football fields, soccer fields. And it was my second home. It's like where we all were, right? So then we all had jobs. By the time when I was in high school, when I was 13, we all worked. Like we were all sort of working class economically. And so I worked at the candy store and newsstand that was open till 10 o'clock, 4 nights a week. And my friends all worked within a block of me at the luncheonette, at the dry cleaners, at the pharmacy. So, we worked. Friday nights, we hung out at the bowling alley and the pool hall because we were ne'er-do-wells in certain ways, right? And there was, in terms of my own sort of ethnic identity, there was a Jewish deli, there was a Jewish bakery, there was a bagel place. And, we were all on the street all the time. We were on the street at night. There were people on the street at night.
Yeah.
It's like, you understand this.
Oh, yeah.
Gen Xer, people like, and the older people brought down their beach chairs and sat outside their apartment buildings. I mean, the whole idea was to be outside.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of people didn't have, I was also a lifeguard here in Chicago at North Avenue Beach, and people don't realize when you have open spaces and people don't have air conditioning, they'd go outside to cool off, right? Or they have window air conditioners. I mean, it's not the way it is now.
I have actually an illuminating anecdote about this. It's not from my book. My parents moved to Rego Park in Queens after high school. And like my first summer there, like a career across from some low-income housing, nice, 3-story buildings. And every night there were people on the street, grandparents watching their kids or not watching their kids, drinking, playing cards and playing dominoes, the whole thing, right? It was sort of very lively, right? And the next summer, I noticed that nobody was out. And either they had all gotten sort of a grant for air conditioning, or partially some of those places went co-op, but it was dead silent. And I thought, I teach some stuff about technology, and I thought there is always a loss involved with an advance in technology.
Yeah. And
it's usually a loss in social sort of conduct and our socializing. And that was kind of a brutal example for me.
Yeah, I just flashed the idea, like in Chicago, there are a lot of groups bringing together like people spaces. They're trying to sort of artificially create spaces they want to lure people to. And in our neighborhood, it is not working, but that's neither here nor there. It's just it's an alley you used to be able to use, and now it's not.
I'm not against air conditioning, but there is a loss.
There is. You also wrote about the race riots and the 1968 teacher strike as the moment of the Black-Jewish alliance came apart. Chicago has its own version. We all went through a lot of this in the 60s. Tell us a little about that moment.
So these are two separate events. There was a teacher strike in 1968 that involved a lot of name-calling it was a very Jewish sort of workforce among teachers. And so the teacher strike wound up involving a lot of accusations of Black anti-Semitism and a lot of Black accusations of anti-Black racism. And the teacher strike lasted 6 weeks. And of course, I was 10 or 11. I wasn't aware of that, but I read about it later. And that was the beginning, I think, of what was the white flight in my neighborhood, in a way. And then, so it wasn't just like the move to the suburbs, which is kind of the standard idea. White flight was about moving to the suburbs and having your own house and your own car. And sure, that's partly true. But what gets left out that I tried to put back in my book is none of my friends bought houses. Like, we didn't have the money. They moved to different neighborhoods in Brooklyn and Queens because, they felt they were safer, or, all those things. So, and then in 1970, before I was in high school, in my high school in 69, 70, there were some race riots. And so by the time I got there, so in 1969 or 70, Erasmus Hall High School, a very fabled high school, the second oldest public high school in America. My high school was 70 to 75% white and mostly Jewish. And within 4 years, it was 80 to 85% Black and Afro-Caribbean and 10% Latino and Asian or so. That happened in 3 or 4 years. So what was kind of the preamble of the teacher strike, as soon as there were race riots in the high school, which was also such a Jewish high school that Barbara Streisand and Neil Diamond graduated 10 years before me.
What? Okay.
That's how Jewish a high school was. But everybody just went. And so I grew up in predominantly Black high schools, which is why I wound up kind of a scholar of race and racism and Black culture and cool and the other things that I work on. And so, I just, was in it. And so I went back and researched that 10 years later because I was a teacher and I wanted to sort of get a sense of what happened. And I went back and interviewed all my old teachers. And what really made me sad was the best teacher I had, Mr. Jesse Resnick. He said that when the race riots happened, he and other teachers invited parents in to see that students were learning together, in an integrated school, that these were related to national issues. This is the late 60s. There are plenty of big racial issues happening nationally. And they said, look, the race riots weren't about our school. They were about larger national issues. And they tried to show that in school, except for those two events, basically kids were learning. There was no hostility. And so I said, what happened? He goes, they didn't want to see it. So it was confirmation bias.
Yeah.
And it made him sad and it made me sad. And, So this is my way of sort of going back and putting that story sort of hopefully back into at least some sort of New York and national consciousness, if I can sell enough books and talk to enough people like you, and sort of move the needle a little bit about what that narrative is and was.
Really remarkable and fortunate, I think, for so many of us that you have this sort of self-awareness at 15, knowing that not just that you were going to write a book about your family, but that you felt the importance of everything happening around you, it seems, right? I mean, some of it is reflection, but it seems like it's also kind of like you are a very present person, is what I imagine.
I was, and again, my family dynamics are very strange, right? So we have two pairs of kids with an 11-year gap in the same parents, which is a very unusual thing. So I had an older brother who's 12 years older than me and an older sister who's 15 years older than me. I mean, she has since passed away. So to some extent, our awareness is at least based on the fact that my older brother and sister were in college when I was in grade school. So it's a little bit of that and a little bit of the fact that, you know, I wasn't an intellectual kid, but I was a smart kid. And like people around me were reading and talking about current events. I mean, it's the late 60s, right? And so but I still can't explain a lot about why intuitively I was aware of race at 12 and 13. And it wasn't just being at predominantly Black schools. I was aware of that this is an issue and that I don't understand, that I want to understand. And my friends at the time, who I'm still friends with, you know, they're all aware and they know it, but they don't remember even the stories I remember because I knew I was thinking about this.
Outstanding. You know what? Sorry.
So, and I don't know why. I can't explain. It's like, you know, I can't explain why. It's like, you know, somebody being good at something and saying, well, I was good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't quite say that, but intuitively, that's what I was drawn to.
Amazing. Do you mind if we take a break and do another segment?
No,
do you have enough time? Excellent. We are talking to Joel Dinerstein. He has written a book about a neighborhood that doesn't exist anymore, as he just said, and has this wonderful amount of recall and aware. What were you going to say? It looks like you were saying something.
It still exists. It's still very much
in the way it was. Yes, the atmosphere, the culture. Yeah,
ethnic populations.
Yeah. That doesn't exist the way it did in your memory. I mean, obviously, none of our neighborhoods do. Mine definitely does, and I drive through it all the time. And I can still, like, sometimes I think I'm a little bit like you, where I can remember like playing Ghost in the graveyard in the church, you know, parked next to. I mean, I have that sense of memory, and I feel like you do as well. The smells of things, the sounds. Not everybody has that, and it's sometimes we have to remind ourselves we're pretty unique that way.
Like you, I walk through my old neighborhood every 2-3 years.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. Let's continue our conversation when we come back. I want to talk a little bit about, again, what it's like publishing this book, what reactions he's gotten, and his life in New Orleans. Let's take a break here. We'll be right back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, KTNF AM 950, and all of our digital listeners as well.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much. As we continue our conversation, we love that you're joining us for this, and I hope that you'll definitely pick up this book. We're so excited to talk to Joel Dinerstein. And again, I want to thank our friends who are tuning in on WCPT 820 here in Chicago, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, and all of our friends tuning in digitally, maybe YouTube, Facebook, or Substack through Minocqua Brewing Company's Substack. We encourage you to subscribe and share with your family and friends so they can join the conversation too. And don't forget to download any of our podcasts available at heartlandsignal.com. We've been talking to Joel Dinerstein, who wrote a book about a neighborhood that he remembers both fondly and as a point of reference in history, really. We were talking a little bit in between these conversations, and I want to kind of come back and talk a little bit about that. You were talking about the dynamics, the economic sort of landscape of living in an urban area where families could live in apartments on the block, have kids running around. And I think we have parallels in Chicago and really any major urban area. Talk to us a little bit about what you have seen evolve over the years since you were a kid.
Yeah, so to some extent, my neighborhood is still, the built environment remains the same because a lot of it was 3-story and 6-story apartment buildings. But it has been for the last 40 years, pretty much Afro-Caribbean. And Brooklyn at one time had the largest populations of Jamaicans, Haitians, and Trinidadians and West Indians outside of those countries. And that happened when I was a kid. And now, of course, it's beginning to gentrify. But the fact is that when white people were living there, all the infrastructure that supports those kind of neighborhoods, banks, department stores, mom and pop businesses, infrastructure, landlords who have to fix stuff, governments who have to fix stuff, that sort of all goes out the window, or at least decreases a great deal when white people leave, even if those people are middle class. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is an important thing right now in all of politics, which is affordability. Is like, we had an affordable lower middle class life in living in it. We had a 6-room apartment. It was all that we needed. I mean, you don't need a 2-story garage and all the stuff you can handle, but that's what designates you either a normal American or a winner. And we kind of fetishize suburban home ownership. And to some extent, that leaves you, if you grow up even like me, kind of as a loser. And I didn't feel that way at all, but it's only gotten worse since. I remember when I was in grad school, there was a young woman who was 23 who said, "You're the first person I've ever met who grew up in an apartment," as if I was like a lizard or an exotic species, right? And so this is still doable, but our economics and our politics have made it not, in fact, possible and not desirable unless you're young and you've moved to the city for 4 or 5 years, and then, hopefully you find someone to move to suburbs, whatever it is. So all of that has changed for those reasons. But I also want to talk about the advantages of growing up in a multi-ethnic, multiracial neighborhood when diversity is not like, a keyword or a form of politics. Like, these are the people you knew. They're people like you, right? It's very simple, right? So I write about the fact that we had this really great football team. We were a pickup football team when I was in high school, and we got challenges from all over Brooklyn from people we did not know. And we played a full game with helmets and pads, 11 on 11, and no coaches, no audience, no girlfriends. We just went out and played. That team was 6 or 7 Jewish people, 4 or 5 African Americans, 2 Puerto Ricans, and 1 Chinese American guy. And, we didn't think anything of it. Like, these were just who our friends were. And so to some extent, I think that the advantages of that, in terms of how you view the country and yourself and ethnicity and all of that, is a pretty strong advantage to growing up in this country as opposed to a mostly wealthy neighborhood or mostly white neighborhood or something like that. So, I think affordability is actually tied in with all of these issues. The last thing I want to say about it is that, look, I love Brooklyn. I love that Spike Lee's tagline on all his movies is dedicated to the great borough of Brooklyn. And what I call pre-hipster Brooklyn was a great place. But people now associate Brooklyn with Williamsburg and the gentrified areas and brownstone Brooklyn. And, to some extent, I walk through those neighborhoods and I think that they are comparatively, less vital. And it's great. People love it. But if you're not making $250,000 a year, you are not living there in the kind of apartment life that actually we had back then.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it, when you mention, especially in neighborhoods when white folks leave, there's a disinvestment. I mean, I talk about this all the time in Chicago. There are neighborhoods in our city where people would just assume wall it off and let them take care of each other, right? I mean, when there's violence, people just assume it's on the west side or the south side, and nobody acts as though these are our neighbors. These are Chicago. These are human beings, much less neighbors or Chicagoans. And resources are shut off. People don't. That's something when we talk, you and I think we're mindful and aware of being in a very unique situation. It's I feel like I'm screaming into the wind sometimes. I knew how lucky we had it, and I grew up we had a 1-bedroom apartment. I shared a bunk bed with my dad at one point, and sure, when I was a kid, I felt like I would have liked to have had my own room, and it was still like I don't know how I would trade that. And the kids I grew up with, running up and down, like you said, but playing flashlight tag at night and staying out way past the streetlights even came on because my parents didn't really care. Because it was.
They were the opposite of helicopter parents, right? My parents had no idea what our lives were like, what we did. They had no idea. And my deal with my mother was if I was coming home after midnight when I was in high school, I would call her.
Yeah.
But other than that, there were no questions.
Yeah, same. It was pretty good. Yeah. Again, it was fun. And I can't imagine growing up now. We're talking to Joel Dinnerstein, who is the author of The Last of the Ellis Island Jews, a Brooklyn memoir. And now you mentioned teaching, and we talked about how you're in New Orleans now. Tell us a little bit about your life now in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, I love New Orleans. I've been here 23 years. It has, neighborhood life. And before the gentrification of the last sort of 10 years, it had sort of a little bit of kind of the Brooklyn life, except it's a very low density city, like mostly houses, very few apartment buildings.
Sure.
But it has real neighborhoods, and, that's a great thing, and I love it. But New Orleans has suffered a lot recently from, as you mentioned at the top of the show, the immigration crackdown. ICE was here. And that scared, like we have in the last 10 years, actually since Katrina, the last 20 years, our Latino population has increased tenfold. And a lot of Latinos live out in the suburb of Kenner. And people don't go out in Kenner anymore. And they just stay inside, particularly during that operation that you mentioned. But that was also true within New Orleans itself. And I will say it wasn't quite Minneapolis, but a lot of people here really did sign up and alert people when ICE was in the area, or Homeland Security was in the area, and they drove around, they blocked cars. I mean, it did very well. I'm not proud. I should have been a part of it, but so, that I'm ashamed of. But not me. I'm just saying I'm ashamed that ICE was here and did that. But New Orleans is a great, I love New Orleans. It's a rare city that it doesn't really feel like you're in sort of Trump's America so much.
Yeah.
It's part because New Orleans people never really cared. It's like one of the nicknames is the city that care forgot. So people are just going to live their lives and have a good time. And we're still like that. Like, I'm impressed that we have survived gentrification, and the current political thing in the city still mostly feels like itself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a great thing.
Yeah.
I'm a music scholar. I'm a scholar of second lines, Black second lines, which is the oldest weekly ritual in American culture, 150 years, every Sunday. This great kind of rolling block party through the streets with a brass band and day drinking. It's kind of, it's a great thing. And, it's also beautiful. The architecture is beautiful. The food is great. I love the live oak trees.
How do you stay in shape? Because you look great if you're enjoying New Orleans food. I never know how people. I have a friend named Ford who's a librarian for the law school at, I'm not trying to remember, Loyola. I can't remember one of the Franciscan schools down there. But he has to go running like every single morning in order to eat what he wants at night.
I'm going to tell you exactly this. Whenever we hire a new person in my department, in the English department at Tulane, I tell them, look, you're going to have to decide whether you're going to eat too much or drink too much. Because if you don't, you'll be both. And every one of them has come back to me 3 years later and said, I thought you were joking. I said, I was not joking.
No.
And they said, what do you do? I go, I eat too much. I drink, but, I eat too much. And, I do exercise because you have to.
Yeah.
But, that is pretty much a decision you actually have to make down here.
Yeah, that's why I only visit.
Also, I have to say, nobody, I'll be a booster for the city right now. Nobody has a bad time visiting New Orleans. Like, we're a dysfunctional city in every level of government. But if you come for a long weekend or a week, any time of the year, you will have a good time.
Guaranteed.
And an uniquely good time.
It's true.
It's really true. I've, lots of friends have visited me, so of course it's true. But I wouldn't come in the heat. This is not the time to come. You would still have a good time, but this is not the time to come in early August.
I know. I was thinking about trying to make it for the Red Dress Run this coming weekend. Just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. I was just writing to a friend going, are we going to the Red Dress Run on Saturday? So
it sounds like you are. If you're asking, you're going.
That's true. I just read the sort of announcement for it in the newspaper, and it said, kegs are tapped at 9 a.m. And for walking around the court, I went, if we're going, we better sort of, get ready.
Yeah. I love it. It has been a pleasure. We would love to have you back. Let us know if you have an article come out. We can talk about this book again. Maybe we should make this I keep talking about having a book club, and this certainly seems like a perfect right in the moment of both connecting with our past, understanding the social and economic landscape, and great stories. It's really been a pleasure talking to you, Joel. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure talking to you, Patty. And you're right. There's a couple of book clubs that have already taken up the book. I'm very happy to say.
Oh, wonderful.
So I recommend it. I'm glad you think so.
Yeah. Are you coming through Chicago? Do you have any plans anytime soon?
I love Chicago. I've been there many times and I love it. I will try to find a way. I'm going to tell my publicist to find me a way.
There you go.
To get to Chicago to promote the book.
We'd love to have you in studio. That would be a blast.
Let you know.
Absolutely. I'll show you my, like I was telling you, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood on the northwest side of Chicago where Trump won about 52% of the vote. So there are neighborhoods in Chicago. People always think that we're solidly blue across, but no, it's a lot of cops and firefighters. They all have to live in the city, so they get as far to the edges as possible.
Well, at least they all have to live in the city. That is still an important thing that should be true in every city.
I agree. Others would argue otherwise, but that's neither here nor there. Where's the best place for folks to pick up the last of the Ellis Island Jews?
Well, Amazon's the easiest, but my press, the State University of New York Press, SUNY, is having a summer 50% off sale right now.
Okay.
And so if you go to the site, it's like sunypress.edu. There's a code, and my book is 50% off.
Outstanding. Well, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad you asked.
Absolutely. We will talk to you again soon, and enjoy the Red Dress Run, because I'm pretty sure you're going. I'm just saying. Stay safe and have fun.
Patty, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you again soon. Love you, Lady B.